Now, how many of you watched Alice in Wonderland? How many of you watched Alice in Wonderland? I'm sure quite a number of us did. Do you remember when Alice was asking the cat, which road do I take? And the cat asked her, where do you want to go? And Alice said, I don't know. And the cat said, it really doesn't matter, does it? That's where a lot of us are. Yes, when it comes to writing content. We haven't really defined the direction our content is going to go to. Hence, it's difficult for us to make a connection with people who are our ideal clients and all of that. So you really have to understand what the mission of your content really is. Your content mission is the reason why your content exists in the first place. So you must be sure that you understand what your content mission is. And to understand what your content mission is, there are three things that you have to put into focus. One, who is your core target audience? What is the material you'll be giving to them, and where will it be delivered? And what is the outcome for the client? It's very important that you understand what the outcome is for the client. I always tell anybody who works with me that in every question, in everything that you do, in every product you give to your clients, you want to ensure that there's an outcome for them so that they can see the benefits in it. Trust me, your clients are not very, very interested in the product or service. You know that? They are interested in how it will affect them. They're interested in how it makes them feel. They're interested in the results that comes out of it. So you must make sure that your content creation technique is speaking to your clients in such a way that it defines what you're doing to them and it helps them make an informed decision. So content creation basically, or content basically, is anything that you put out that is relevant, that is entertaining, that makes sense to your ideal clients and helps them to be able to make informed decisions about buying from you. Now, content creation is not relatively to help you start being a superstar salesperson, but to make them, like I said, make an informed decision about you. Hi, Chisom, how are you? So why do you really have to have a content strategy, or why is content marketing important in your business? One, it helps you to be able to make relationships. People start to adore you and respect you when they know that they can come to your site for a reference as per whatever they are going through in the industry or in the space or whatever problems you're going through. You start to get some joint ventures. For instance, I was invited by Scratchboard to speak a couple of weeks back, and it was so amazing because I met with a lot of entrepreneurs. I met with seasoned entrepreneurs in the industry, and I'm currently working with two of them. So it makes a lot of sense for you to put out content that engages people and makes them see you as an authority. That's when you start to have some kind of perceived thought leadership. It also helps you to make sales. Even though the whole idea of writing content is not to sell, but because people know that you have a solid back knowledge about what you're talking about, it's easier for them to make a connection to you and want to buy. There are other tangible benefits of, yes, it helps, exactly. There are other tangible benefits of content creation. So it's very important that you put your content creation into perspective. Now, it's also important that you understand your playing field, right? Where exactly is it that you're being the superstar? So there are a lot of niches. There's personal development, there's fitness, there's food, there's budgeting, there's personal finance, there's fashion, there's beauty, there's home decoration, whatever the case may be. But you need to find out where you are playing, as in what your content area is, your area of specialty. And then you break that down to your niche. So say, for instance, in fashion is a general target market, a general niche. Anybody who wears clothes rather is so-called a target market for anybody who is in fashion. However, you need to break it down and come deeper into your niche. Now, in fashion industry, for instance, your niche might be creating clothes for women, or your niche might be styling or for creating outfits. In the beauty industry now, your niche might be creating wigs or by selling lip gloss or whatever the situation may be. So you want to understand what your playing field is. And basically, you want to be able to create a statement. Like I mentioned, what is your content mission? You want to be able to create a mission statement for your content. It is that important. And content creation takes time. So this course is extremely important for you to understand how you need to create content consistently that won't take so much of your time. So understand, for instance, what is the content statement? If I want to make a content statement, I'll say, I help entrepreneurs who want to XYZ, and I show them how to do this and that. So for me, it is basically that I help entrepreneurs to deal effectively with the overwhelming frustration that comes from running a business. Why? So that they can be able to, they won't be scared of getting visible anymore. They will have a proper client attraction system, and they will build a profitable business. So you must have a mission statement about your content. And you must also make sure that you want to understand what is going on in your buyer's journey. Now, if you've never heard of a buyer's journey before, buyer's journey is basically the process you go through to buy something. The process you go through to buy something. So say, for instance, and there are 3 stages. There's the awareness stage, there's a consideration stage, and there's the decision stage. Now, where you are aware is when you start understanding that you have a problem. So say, for instance, I have alopecia. The doctor has said I shouldn't put anything on my hair. I should allow my hair to breathe, and I should allow my hair to grow. And I have a wedding on Saturday. I have a wedding in 2 weeks' time that will have a bulk of my alumni, like my school people, my schoolmates. You understand? And I want to look awesome. What am I going to do? I have a problem. That is the awareness stage. That is the point where you realize that you have a problem. Do you understand? And at that point, you start to find information about how to solve the problem. Now, you as an entrepreneur, as a business owner who is in the beauty scene, you have to make sure that you meet your client at the awareness stage. Now, what are the things you can talk about in that stage? Say, for instance, 5 steps to maintaining, or 5 steps to ensuring that you can grow your natural hair whilst wearing a wig, or 5 steps to maintaining your wig so that you can allow your natural hair to grow. 5 steps to make sure that your alopecia doesn't show in your next meeting, blah, 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 stuff like that. Because you want to meet your clients at the awareness stage when they have a problem. Now, if your client stumbles on that information, they know that there is something in there for them. They know that there's information in there for them that makes a lot of sense. So they will stop by you. Now, the consideration stage is where they start to see other people who have the same message as your own, and they start to decide, okay, who is the person that's best for me? That's where you also have to meet them with expert information. So you can do FAQs, you can do lists, you can do checklists, and we'll get into all of that later on. And then finally, the decision stage. You want to make sure that your clients see you as the preferred option, right? So your content must also be able to inspire them to make an educated decision to buy from you. Are we following so far? Awesome. Hi. Now, there's something I do. I learned this concept from Chiche Richalo. She's also a visibility coach and an amazing one at that. She talked about something called the content bucket. It's important that you understand what your content bucket is. So say, for instance, you are a mom. No, say, for instance, you are in the parenting field or parenting area. Your content bucket is parenting. And you want to be able to break your content bucket into categories and subcategories. Now, your category might be teenage children. Your category might be toddlers, right? Your subcategories now are the things that are the subtopics that your clients need to be proficient about in order for them to be able to buy from you, or in order for them to be educated about your product. Now, can you see why it is important for you to understand the buyer's journey and where to meet them, right? So, in creating content regarding that area, there are so many subcategories you can have. First of all, communication with your children, not shouting at them, making sure they eat breakfast for school, building a healthy family, having quiet time or family time, engaging, and all of that. So all of that all of that form for you a content, what you call it, subcategory. And you can break this into pieces. You can break this into smaller pieces that can enable people to be able to make decisions, or can enable people to be able to understand what it is that you offer them and behave like you are a superstar. Now, you may ask me, where are the places where I can get blog posts or places where I can get information and all of that? Before I get into that, I've mentioned before that you need to know who your ideal clients really are and what they really want and what stage in the buyer's journey that they are, so that you can provide the right level of information for them. Do you understand? You don't just want to create random content, because if your content doesn't have a purpose, if it doesn't have a strategy, it becomes oblivious. It stays in the sky. So as a business owner, your focus basically is to attract the right audience, right, with your message, is be able to convert them and then close the sale when the sale comes, and then continue delighting them. So your content must have a direction, and it must be directly affiliated to who your ideal clients are. So I cannot run away from the fact that you need to know who your ideal clients really is and where they are in their journey, right? Now, some of the triggers that a lot of people go through is that they're looking for comfortable living conditions. They're looking for things that help them against fear, things that help them to live a better life, things that help them to, perform better, or freedom from fear or danger and other things. These are the things that you need to speak to. And your clients need to be informed about all of this, or they need to be more, do I have YouTube videos? No. And they want to have more efficacy in this thing. So before you create your content, ask yourself, what do my clients need to know for them to be proficient in this area? Now I'm going to give you my content hacks For me, there are various areas for you to get content and for you to be able to put content out for your clients. Some of the places that I use personally: Pinterest. Pinterest is so amazing because it has pictures, it has messages, short messages that you can build on. Now, the one that I figured out very recently that is the most amazing, trust me, is what we call BuzzSumo. BuzzSumo is so amazing. They have a 14-day trial period, so you can try it. Now, what BuzzSumo does for you is that it helps you to understand content that has been shared a million and one times, content that has been shared on different profiles, and how the content was crafted or the topics were crafted, and it ranks high. Now, in writing your content, beyond every other mission I've talked about, one of the biggest missions for your content is that it must give you a correct return on investment. And what is the return on investment? Shareability, engagement, the ability for people to understand what you're doing, like what you're doing, and want to be in what you're doing. That will make them always come back as a reference point because they have found information that they cannot do without. Now, also, in your writing content, you're creating content, your typical journey is that you want to be able to convert a stranger to maybe a casual visitor on your site or your Facebook or wherever you are linked to an engaged subscriber. And then you want to delight them so that they can become your brand advocates and eventually your customers. Now, where you understand that your message has made sense is when people start to reshare. When people start to reshare and people start to slide into your DM and ask you, babe, what's happening? What are you selling for us? And all of that. So these are very important steps that you need to put into consideration when you are writing your content. I've spoken about content buckets and I've said to you how you can break them into various pieces. And seriously, these are really, how do I put it, almost easy peasy ways for you to break content. So think about your content bucket as the big container that has all the information about your business. So if you're in fashion, for instance, what are the various content buckets what are the contents that will be inside your content bucket, basically, or the categories that will be inside your content bucket? Maybe it will be styling, it will be body size, it will be facial expression, it will be makeup, it will be styling, it will be penning, and pieces. Those are the big content buckets. Now, you want to break them down into how to, where to, frequently asked questions, or lists. Those are your subcategories, right? And then when you take out one subcategory, maybe body shape, you can then start to break them down into simpler pieces that make sense to your clients. And I've told you that there are various areas for you to get information from. You can get them from Pinterest, from Facebook groups, so amazing, from BuzzSumo, which I just told you about. And also, I use Amazon. I go on Amazon and look at bestseller lists, bestseller books, regarding topics that are in my content bucket, and I see what people are saying. The truth of the matter is that when you go on there and you look at reviews, you hear conversations based off of people's real life experiences, and that's the language you want to use in the market, because that's exactly what's going on in the mind of your ideal client. If you don't use the words that are identical to them or words that they understand, you will lose them. So it's very essential that you work based off of the reviews you get and all of that. Now, even on social media, BuzzSumo is BUZZ, then Sumo Wrestler, SUMO, right? So, like I was saying, these are the things that will help you get information. Being on social media as well, Facebook, you can use the search buttons. Do you understand? When you use the search buttons, you can search in groups where you have your ideal clients and see the flow of their conversations and how, whatever their trouble situations are, problems that they have. You can also ask questions using questionnaires, using survey tools and all of that to get information about them. The biggest one is actually having offline conversations, having one-on-one conversations with your ideal clients. You understand? So say, for instance, you are in the weight loss industry. You can simply ask a question around what are your struggles about going into the fridge to get a cookie at night, except it's bondage. But what are your struggles, with going to pick food late at night? So for some people, they didn't eat throughout the day, or they've started counting calories, but at night they are so tempted they have to go into the fridge to get food. So you want to ask questions around how, those kind of things, those kind of offline questions that bring conversations. Now, also, to create your content itinerary, you have to ask yourself, on what platforms do I really want to extend my content? And that still falls back to you understanding your ideal clients and where they exist, where they hang out the most. You might want to do audio, you might want to do visuals, you might want to write a blog, you want to be on social media and all of that. But you want to ask yourself, how frequently would I be writing? Would I write weekly? Would I write twice a week? Or will I write once every 2 weeks? Now, if you write weekly, in a 6-month period, you would have 26 contents out. And in a 12-month period, you have about 52. And if you write once every 2 weeks, you will have 12 content in 6 weeks and 24 content in 12 months. And in my opinion, I don't think that's enough for anybody to make a decision. But if you write a minimum of twice a week, it might also help you to be able to plan. Now, in planning, you must have a content planner. And in your content plan, like I said, you have to list your content buckets. When you list your content buckets, break them down into subcategories, and then break your subcategories into topics that make sense to your ideal client. And I've explained to you places where I go to make sure that I get those kind of topics. Now, like I mentioned before, there's also the fact that you have to understand your client's journey so that you can help them per second and help them in their way. Now, there are various types of content that affect some kind of people and how you can position and promote your ideas to them. First of all, there are people who have no clue what to do. They have no idea the problem that your product or service solves. Maybe you haven't done enough to speak to them. The kind of content you create for those people is bringing their attention to the problem you solve. So you can say things like 10 things you didn't know about working from home, or 10 things you didn't know about owning a wig, or 10 things you did not know about, weaving your hair too tight, or 10 things you didn't know about allowing your hair to breathe. So those are people that's bringing their attention to the things that you do. You can say why your resume sucks. For those of you who are in HR, I can see a couple of my brothers there. So you can say a few things like why your resume sucks and why your resume will never get you a job if it's written like this. 12 mistakes that bloggers make and all of that. So you are bringing their attention to the things that you do. Now, there are the second category of people that are becoming much more aware of the things that you do and how your problem helps them, of how your service helps them solve problems. For this kind of people, you want to keep maintaining their interest. You want to keep having them stay with you, which is why I said understand where your buyer is in their journey. It's easier for you because you know the kind of content to give out, right? So for those kind of people, you want to say things like the lazy man's guide to, maybe you're a caterer, so the lazy man's guide to making dinner, or the marketer's 9 simple guide for a marketer to keep selling. The lazy blogger's guide to writing content for 60 days, or how to create a goal and set a habit, or, how to have or maybe something that you can be proud of, but you want to keep them entertained. So for this category, you want to keep them coming back for more. You want to keep them using your content area as their reference point. Now, there are people who are aware of what you solve. They already trust your content, they like your content, but they are not quite ready to buy. They don't have the money to buy yet. What do you do for these people? The type of content you talk to them about is about how investments have helped you, how investments have helped you grow, how it has helped you become a better person, or why you stopped doing content creation for yourself. For instance, because it takes time. So you must be invested. Hi, Cynthia, thank you for joining me. You must be invested. So for these people, you want to start making them understand the reasons why they should invest in their future. They should invest in themselves and invest in their content creation. This way, it makes sense for them to be able to make solid decisions about your business. Now, for those who are ready to buy, you want to be able to put out information that has reviews about you, product reviews, comparison of your product vis-a-vis other ones. Now, that might be very tricky, but you want to be very careful about it by emphasizing the benefits of your product and making them to make an informed decision. Remember that, like I said, content creation is really not about selling per se. It is about making sure that you educate your clients and give relevant content that speaks to their needs, speaks to their problems, and makes them make an informed decision about buying your product. Now, moving forward, you also have to understand that content can be created, like I said, on different platforms. You can write on blogs, you can write on social media, you can share with video, you can share with audio. But one of the fastest ways to get your message out there is to actually do videos, because videos help you to be able to engage with people. They see your nuances, they understand how you feel, how you love them, and whatever your situation is, it helps you position yourself well and makes them to see you as an authority. In other words, you're giving them information that is relevant to them. Again, content is educational and not proportional. So you want to make sure that you're doing that. And you must also have it at the back of your mind that your content creation must be able to give you the highest number of engagements. In other words, the return on investment for creating content is to keep getting engagements, shares, and likability. Now, I've been in a situation whereby I've written content before. It was so awesome. I got like 200 and something comments, blah, 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 on Facebook, blah, blah, and all that. And the next day, I was thinking about it, that, oh my God, how am I going to top that? And I was blank. There are other days when you're also very blank about what content or what information you want to write. This is why your content planning calendar is very, very important, and your content creation process is very important. Now, you have to plan. When you're creating a plan, I do have a book where I have an illustrator about how your content should look like. I know you are very late because I'm almost done. When you're planning your content, there's a table that I wish I could even show you there, but I don't have my notes here. I don't have the table that has it. But you want to be able to do a lot of research. I've told you the places where you can get research information about your content. Now, when you're creating your content, your content planner, you want to first of all understand who your ideal client is, like I mentioned before. You want to create a topic using the content bucket formula I told you about. You also want to understand your buyer's stage, where they are in their buyer's journey. Are they in the awareness stage or the consideration stage or decision stage? You also want to decide how your content will help them. How will your content help them be better? How will it help them make better information? Then you want to decide your content type or your content format, right? You can decide to write about lists or how-tos or frequently asked questions or question and answers or researches. These are various ways that you can put all that amazing research you have done into focus. Also, you want to have swipe files. Swipe files are done for you content that helps you to be able to put information somewhere. I get swipe files from different places. I put them in my Evernote. I get swipe files from my email listing. I get swipe files from BuzzSumo, like I mentioned earlier. I get swipe files from Pinterest. Files from various areas I know will relate to my ideal client and will give them a run for their money. Now, when you go to create swipe files, you're not just going there to take people's information verbatim or just steal people's information, word for word. You're going there to get ideas. You're going there to get information that works well with your ideal client. It is also very, very essential that you are able, to understand who your ideal clients truly are and the things that affect them and how it is that your content is going to help them get better. Now, I think that these are basically the recipes that you need for success in your content creation journey. One, think about what your content goal is. Why exactly? What is the mission of your content, right? Who is it for? What platform are you going to share with them? And what is the outcome for them? Secondly, you also want to be able to understand what your sweet spot is. Where is your area of genius, right? What makes you feel better? What is the place that can emphasize your strengths the most and make your ideal client see you as an authority all the time? Third, you want to understand your niche. Of course, everybody knows the niche where they belong, but you want to know which area of that niche you're going to help. So if you are in fitness, for instance, you're not there for everybody. You're basically there to create content for maybe those who are career women who want to lose weight, or nursing mothers who want to lose weight, or men who want to build more muscles and all of that. So that's understanding your niche. Fourthly, you want to understand your content creation, skeleton. So that's basically having your content bucket, breaking your content buckets into subcategories, into categories, and then into subcategories. And then afterwards, you want to understand the format of your content. You want to understand if it's going to be videos or audios or visuals or their blogs and all of that. And then at the end of the day, you want to be able to relate it to your client's journey, to your client's buyer's journey, and make sure that you are providing information that helps them to make informed decisions about your product or service. So I think that's it from me tonight. Yes, I'm in record time. I always like to keep my live session 30 minutes so that if you want to come back and have a replay, you can enjoy it. So I hope this was of value to you, and I hope that it made sense to you, right? If it did, please type 1. Type 1 in the comment section so I know that it made sense to you and it gave you value as well. So currently, I do have a content creation, webinar going on, but a content creation class going on. But however, I do have some materials that might be very useful to you in this period. Thank you, Business Connect. I have some materials that will be very helpful to you when it comes to creating content consistently. This is going to give you topics, it's going to give you ideas, it's going to give you tips on how I use my swipe file, and it's also going to give you a content skeleton for your business. And attached with that, there's a video that helps you to simplify all of this. There's also a content planner, which is very important, and there's also a content creation Dropbox that you can use to put all your topics in it. Now, why this is very essential is that you can give it to your assistant to help you create, as far as you have created, the breakdown of how the skeletal work, the framework of how you want your content to go. So you don't spend all day working on content. Content creation can be a huge hassle and it can take a lot of time from you. But you want to ensure that you have you want to ensure that you have a plan that makes it easy for you and your team to be able to work. So it gives you more time to work on other strategic areas of your business. So now, if you want, hi Lillian and G's, you owe me a call. Now, if you want to have these 4 materials, like I said, the content creation workbook, you want to have the content creation book, the video, and the content creation planner, as well as the skeletal one, you do let me know, send me a DM, and I will make sure that it gets to your inbox. Now, it is not free. This particular one is usually sold 7,500 naira, giving this 5 minutes. But for those of you who are on here, I will be giving a fast action bonus of 3,500 naira. How did I say 3,500 naira? Oh my God. I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say 5,000. Well, the luck is yours. I'm going to give a fast action bonus of 3,500 naira if you make payment between now and 12 p.m. tomorrow. After that, you will see the advert lying on my Instagram page and the price would have gone up to the regular price. But trust me, it is value for money. You don't want to create content today and be thinking about what you're going to do tomorrow or what you're going to do the next day to top that up. And trust me, if your clients see that you are not consistent with your message, or if they see that you're not consistent with your content, chances are that you will lose them. I don't need to explain to you that the online space is very noisy and we're no longer, searching for space or fighting for space because we have space right now. So the billboards are even suffering now. What we are struggling for is attention. And if you cannot grab attention right, honey bunches of oats, you might not be in business for too long. And if you have the right attention, it's easier for you to talk a lot about your product, about your service, and bring people into your phone. And the one way to do that is to make sure you have your content currency full. And I am giving this to you on a platter of gold. God, I can't believe I said 3,500. I'm so mad at myself. But it's fine. You have it. A lot of hard work has gone into it. A lot of thought has gone into it. And like I said, this is all of my journey. So thank you again for joining me tonight. I spoke to you about my book. Yay! The Rookies Guide is out. Like I said, it is my personal journey from transitioning from online consulting to being on offline consulting to being on the online space. And trust me, it wasn't an easy transition. Still isn't, but I'm very happy to be able to pinpoint things that a lot of entrepreneurs are actually going through and people could actually relate with. So if you want to be on my launch team, I'm very happy to have you be on my launch team. I'll be very excited. And I'm putting together a small launch team of people who will help me push the book out, give me strategies for me to be able to put it on other social media networks. Now, I'm not an island of knowledge, so I cannot know it all. That's why I'm having you, my family and friends, my fans, my everything, my customers, my clients, be on the group with me. So if you would like to join the launch team, kindly send me a DM. If you'd also want to get the content creation bucket, which would close at 12 p.m. tomorrow morning, kindly send me a DM as well. Make sure you share this message with your friends if you know they have struggles writing content. And I'm very certain that this content creation bouquet is going to help you set your content on fleek. Content creation is currency that keeps spinning over and over again. And the more you get it right, the more you can attract people, the more you have more customers coming to you, the more you have brand recognition, the more you have the best return on investment. So thank you so much, guys, for joining me today. It was awesome being here. Thank you. I cannot say thank you to everyone enough. I'm sorry I can't call all your names, so trust me from the depth of my heart. I truly appreciate. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, and see ya tomorrow. No, next week, Tuesday. Bye, guys. Thank you. And live video. Oh, wow. How can a number of people? Save video.